Hey everybody, welcome to a Cricut tutorial. Today we are going to make some personalized signs from the Dollar Tree. But before we get started, if you are into crafts, Cricut especially, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I put out new videos all the time. We'll be doing giveaways, lots of fun stuff, and lots of fun crafts. So I'm going to preface this with that the glitter snowman was supposed to have something on him. It did not work out, and you will see that in this video because I like to show you guys that I'm not perfect too. So let's go over to Design Space and we can get started. First thing we're going to do is measure the Dollar Tree signs. So obviously each was $1 to see how much space we have to put our stuff. So this one I'm going to put the and last name family. So I know that I've got about probably 5 inches and about, let's call it 7 inches on that one. And then this one, we're probably just going to put somebody's last name, but we'll see. So we got about 8.5 inches. So let's go over to Design Space and figure out how we're going to put all this together. We know what space we have to work with. So let's go ahead and start our text. So we're going to do, and I'm going to make this for a nice family who I've known for a long time. So I'm just going to do this part first, which is just the part that'll go above the snowman. And I know that I have about 5 inches to work with, so we got to keep that in mind when we're doing this. Now I'm going to go into my system fonts, and I want to do the script font. And I think let's see how Magnolia Sky looks with this, because I want it to be really pretty and kind of fun and Christmassy. So let's go ahead and move these closer together. And I'm just going to check my text really quick and make sure I used capitals. I did. So I can already tell right now I'm going to have to ungroup these because of the T and the J. I don't know why they do this to me, but they just hate me. So let's ungroup it. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the H a little bit closer to the E, and I want to move the T up a little bit. I actually would like the T to look more like a capital T, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger too. That's the nice thing with this, is that you can change them up so that they look like this J looks so small, even though I know that it's a capital letter. So I'm going to move it just to make sure that I like it and that it looks like I think it should look. So we're going to go ahead and move everything over a little bit. And we do this so that our script font looks nice and finished and polished. And once you have everything where you want it, and let's just move our J around a little bit closer. I want to double check how tall I can go because I didn't think about how tall I could go. So I can go about 2 inches. I can do about 5 inches by 2 inches, but see how far apart these are? They're really far apart. So we can move them closer by selecting this entire word and just moving it up. And we can move them around depending on how we want it to look. And I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to select the entire thing and I'm going to weld it. And what that does is it takes away any of the cut lines in our words. So we have the Jablonski, and the next one we're going to do is family. I'm going to leave this one in the same font because I want these to look the same. And as I was looking at this, I decided that it would look really cute to put all the family names in it. So we're going to letter space it down, which the letter spacing is just at the top of your screen, right where it says letter spacing. And once it's about where you want it, you can weld it. This one didn't really need to be changed too much because it was plenty large enough. So on this one I have probably about the same space, about 2 inches by 5 inches. So let's take a look and we'll resize these down a little bit. So we know we can go about 2 inches by 5 inches. Now if you wanted to, you can unlock it and spread it out a little bit. And that way you can fill your space just a little bit more just by spreading it out. And same with this. We have the 2 inches by 5 inches, and we don't really want it to look huge compared to the word Jablonski. So we're going to go ahead and just squeeze it down a little bit. And I think that's going to look pretty good. Now I decided I wanted to put everybody's names on their little snowmen. So their names are pretty short. I've got about 2 inches on the mom, 2 inches on dad, and about 1.5 inches on the other little snowman. So we know that we're going to do Mandy, James, and Matt. But these I want to do in more of a regular font. So let's get rid of this. And I just want these nice and easy to read. Nothing too crazy. So let's find just something that's real simple Usually things like Arial are pretty easy to read and pretty simple. So let's just take a look and find something super easy. That looks a little, ugh. We may end up with just Arial because that's usually my go-to. Or Comic Sans is pretty cute. Let's do Comic Sans. So I'm going to teach you something. We can actually put the lines of these differently. So we're going to go ahead and, oops, move this over so you guys can see. And all you do is you just put your cursor right behind one of the names and just hit enter. Because when you can go to advanced, you can ungroup it to lines, and that will help you size it so that you have enough space. So we know that we can go about 2 inches on mom, dad, and mom and dad, and the son needs to be smaller. So we're just going to make them all kind of about 1.5 inches probably. And that way they look pretty even. It doesn't have to be exact. You just want them to look pretty close. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's all we have to do. Now, these ones are welded, and this is welded because it has a script font, and you don't want any of the cut lines. We don't need to weld these or do anything with them other than just leave them as is. And we're going to do everything in black with the exception of their names. I'm going to do their names, I think, maybe in a gray because I can see that Dad's hat is black. And so let's just change them to a color that isn't black right now so that it will cut on a different color. Now we're just going to click Make It, and it'll show us what it's going to cut. So it has our first names, and then it has our family part. We're going to hit Continue. We're going to go ahead and cut it on the machine and weed it, and then we can apply it to our sign. But while we're doing that, let's hit Cancel real quick, because if you want to save yourself a little bit of time and hassle, you know that this is one design. So let's just move it out of the way, because we can do the same design. We can go ahead and design on the same canvas for our little snowman. Our little snowman, we're just going to put warm winter wishes on. And like I said, I'm working with probably about, let's call it 7.5 inches to work with by probably about 3.5, 4 inches, depending. So we're going to do warm winter and wishes. Oops. Now I want them centered, so I'm going to go right up here to alignment and center them. It's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and use a script font on this one as well, and I'm going to go use Magnolia Sky just so I don't have to mess with it too much. And we're going to go ahead and size it down. We're going to letter space it down first. And with this one, the W's can touch. It won't look weird. But with some of the capital letters, you do need to watch because it will look kind of funny. So let's just get them all touching. Now with winter, I'm going to need to ungroup them. So let's ungroup our letters because the TER is not touching the N, and I don't like that. So we're just going to select the TER and just move them over. And as I'm doing that, I'm just going to look at each of my other letters, make sure everything is touching, select it all, and weld it. I always double check these once they're welded to make sure nothing is filled in. And then we can actually undo real quick because I realized I wanted to move these all closer together. So let's undo it really quick, and then we can select wishes, put it closer to winter and warm. I'm going to move winter closer to warm. That way you can fit a little bit more on your little snowman. And maybe we move, oops, maybe we don't do that. Maybe we just sort of move wishes around a little bit just to find where it looks the best. And there you go. So now we can select the whole thing and weld. And then we just have to double check our sizing. So we know that we have about 3 inches to work with, so this is perfect sizing. This is just going to save us time on cutting, and it's just going to save us a lot of hassle. So let's go ahead and get this cut on the machine, and then we can get it applied. I've weeded and applied the transfer tape. This is medium tack from 651 vinyl. When I take my decals off, I like to flip them upside down and do them this way. It just seems to come off a little bit cleaner for me. It's all personal preference. I am reusing a sheet, that's why it's all wrinkly, so ignore that. But all we're going to do is just place our decal about where we think it's going to go. Now keep in mind, this is a glittery surface, so it's going to be kind of difficult to get it to stick. But I will say that the glitter on this does not really seem to come off on my hands, so I'm hoping that that's a good omen for getting this to stick. But we're going to make sure that we press this really well, especially on the little eyes in warm and wishes and winter. And we're just going to make sure that we press it really well. And then we're going to make sure that we peel it off pretty slowly. Now, I cannot make promises that this is even going to stick very well, but we're going to give it a shot. If not, what we may end up having to do is seal it with a clear spray, which we do have some, so we may do that, because this does not seem to want to stick at all. Nope. I'm going to take a look at the back of my vinyl and just see how much glitter is stuck to it. Not tons. So it may just be the surface. So let me show you what we're going to use to seal it. Hold on. Because the glittery surface is not letting us stick, we're going to use Glitter Clear Sealer. It is just by Rust-Oleum. It's just a clear spray. Nothing crazy. If I can get the lid off, we'd be doing great. But we're just going to spray just a quick spritz on it. And then we're going to let it sit. Now, because I sprayed it at an angle, I'm just going to make sure that it spreads where I need to go. So we'll let that dry, and when we come back, we can do that one. But we're going to let him sit to dry. And in the meantime, we can do the little snowmen. So I cut everything out, and again, I'm just going to reuse some transfer tape, because why not? And I have all their names. I did them in a silver, and we're just going to trim them right there. So there's the little snowman, and then here's the mommy snowman and the dad. Now, it's okay if they're a little bit bigger than what we had intended. I didn't want them to like blend too much and not be able to be seen. So we're just going to stick them to the transfer tape and peel them on up. Oops, and the T didn't want to stick. Oh no. Every once in a while we get that problem. Letter doesn't want to stick. Then you got to force it. Being that this is a metallic, I have to say I'm not particularly shocked that it didn't want to stick. So my T is super off, so I'm going to move it. Sometimes if I end up with one that just falls off, I'll move it by hand. You don't want to do that too often because the oils from your skin aren't very good for the vinyl, but I just moved him by hand. Nobody will notice that it's slightly off. So his is going to go here at the top of his hat. And all we're going to do is just lay it down, press it with a squeegee, and then peel it off. And we're going to peel it off slowly to make sure that it all stuck. But you're just going to peel it off nice and slow. Okay, and he's labeled. And now we're going to do the mom snowman, or snow woman in this case. Same thing. And again, I'm just reusing the same transfer tape. There's no need to waste it if it's still fairly sticky, especially since you're not going to keep it on there and it's not for a customer. There's no need to waste your transfer tape. So I'm just going to put her name right here. We're just going to press it down. And then we're going to pull it up. Again, pull slowly on these. You don't want to just rip it off like a Band-Aid for these. You do want to go slowly. And then for the child, the little snowman, now be careful because some of the red does want to come up on your transfer tape. So just try not to press too hard on the red part. Again, these are from the Dollar Tree. They're not exactly, you know, the most high quality product that you will find. But they are very cute and very easy to personalize for friends and family. So we're just going to press that down. And again, we're just going to peel slowly. Keep some of that red from coming up, or at least too much of it. Because a little bit did, but that's okay. And then there's our names. So that part's done. The next part we have to do is put our family name on there. So we're going to use, again, we're using transfer tape. Because I'm cheap. So I'm just going to place my transfer tape over my name, press it down again. And I know that you guys probably cannot totally see what I'm doing. But I'm just pressing it with my squeegee. And then I just pull it up and I flip it if it's not coming up very well. But these are coming up really, really easily. And then we're just going to lay this down where we want it. It's going to curl a little bit apparently. So you just need to figure out kind of where you want to place this. And I kind of want to make sure that it's not over her hat too much and not kind of on his hat too much. So I'm going to put it, I wanted to put this at an angle anyways, so I wanted it like this. And I definitely wanted it at an angle. I just think it kind of makes a little more interest in the design. So let's go ahead and press that down. And then we're just going to peel it up. Now this is just such a great way to make gifts for friends and family and not spend a lot of money. This sign was a whole $1, and I realized I missed a little spot when I weeded, so I'm going to see if I can go in and fix that really quick. I missed a little spot here on the B. If it doesn't come off, it really isn't the end of the world, but we'll try it anyways. Sometimes you can get them off, sometimes they're stuck, but nope, that came up, no problem. Okay, and then we're going to use the same piece again, because why not, for the word family, which is going to go right down here on the bottom. And you guys can see this is such an easy to do craft and such a fun way to take a really inexpensive item and make it really special for someone. So for this one, I kind of want to make sure it's fairly centered, and I want to kind of put it into the little pondy thing that they're sitting on. I think it's just a piece of ice, but so we'll press that down, make sure that's good and pressed, and peel that off. And again, peel slowly. You don't want to like rip it off like a band-aid. So this one is all finished. So I'll pick it up so you guys can see it. So we have the Jablonskis. We have Matt, James, and Mandy. And then here's the family at the bottom. I think this came out really cute. So we'll wait for the glitter sealer to set on the other one, and we can get the warm winter wishes put on. The glitter sealer has dried, so let's try this again. All we're going to do again is just set it down on there. And we're going to try to press it again. If all else fails and we have to recut this, we will. I will say you could probably use HTV on this. It really shouldn't cause any problems, but you'll want to make sure that if you do it, you're very, very careful with how much heat you put on this. Some people will say you can heat regular vinyl. That's actually, while true, it's not going to make it hold any harder because this vinyl is actually pressure activated. The adhesive, it's not heat activated, so it's all pressure activated, which makes a huge difference. You're actually just melting the adhesive and not actually going to stick it to anything. It is sticking pretty well. I would never ever put this sign outside anyways. It's a Dollar Tree sign, but I am having to help it a little bit stick as I go, so keep that in mind. If you're going to do these glitter ones, it is going to be a bit of a struggle, but they're going to be worth it in the long run. I sort of wish I would have done wishes and winter and the top part on 2 separate pieces now, because I'm having to kind of babysit both sides, and it's not so easy. So we may try to trim it and see if we can just get the transfer tape to just separate a little bit. Sometimes, honestly, I like showing you guys that I do struggle with these. Like, everyone's like, oh, you make it look so easy. It's not. It is not always easy. It is not always fun. There are days where I want to rip my hair out because these crafts don't work the way I wish they would. You know, I think everybody does have their struggles with these types of things. So I just like for you guys to be able to see, like, when I struggle, because it's not all sunshine and roses. This may just not work, to be honest with you. And if it doesn't, that's okay. We learned a lesson not to use these glittery signs, and that's okay. Unless we want to try it with HTV, which I really don't. I'm not a fan of HTV. I don't like using it. I'm terrible at it. At least on signs. I don't mind it on clothes so much, but all I have is an iron. I don't have a heat press. So that makes a huge difference when you're trying to place these things. Yeah, this is not working. So we're just going to give up on this. Pull it up. No big deal. Luckily, it does no damage to the sign. And here we have a lesson learned from my house to yours. That not every craft works out. Of course, there's like one spot that really wants to stay stuck. It never fails. There's always one piece that's like, nope, I'm not leaving. Now that did pull off some of the some of the glitter. But again, no big deal. Can't really tell. So we may just do something else with him. We may just leave him plain. But in the meantime, we did have this one. And this one came out really nice. This one is wood and no glitter except a few little spots like here. And where I do have that glitter, you can sort of see it. I don't know how you guys can see it. But it does make your vinyl lift up a little bit. You can see the edge from the glitter, but it's okay. No big deal. So we got one done and it looks fine. And sometimes they don't all work out. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. If you're looking for any tutorials, post that in the comments below too. I make these because you guys ask for them. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos all the time. And make sure you hit the bell icon because that'll let you know when I post a new video. I hope you guys had fun watching me struggle with one and making a successful sign with the other. Have a great day and happy crafting.